Hello there, this is Aaron, and in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to add some very simple material textures to your button that Finn showed you how to create. As you can see, I've got my blend file open. I've got both of my objects selected, both the base and the actual button, so you can see the UV. Now, UVs are really helpful. And it's really important to create a really good UV no matter what kind of texture you're going to create, even when you're just doing some simple material textures. But we are actually not going to be doing a traditional image texture like we have been. We don't need to export this UV layout or import it into another program or anything like that. All of the texturing for this is going to be done right inside of Blender. So the first thing I'm going to do is switch over to the shading tab, and I will go ahead and select my button body. I'm going to go over here to the material properties tab, and I'm going to hit subtract from this material. I'm going to press new, and I want to change this material name to light orange. I'm going to go over to the base color and change it so that it is just a very creamy sort of light orange here. Now I'm going to add another material slot, and I'm going to hit plus new, and this one I'm going to call orange. And just because I want to make sure it is relative to the light orange, I'm going to go over here and copy the hex value of the material, of the base color of the material. Go back over to my orange, and I will paste this hex value here. So now I have that same orange, and I will just make it a little bit more vibrant like that. Hit enter, or click out. Now I have an orange that's just a little bit darker and more saturated than the light orange. Now I will do the same thing. Create a new material slot, add a new material. This one I'm going to call dark orange. And the base color, I again want to paste. Again, I want to grab the hex value of the previous orange so that my new orange is relative to that. I will copy the hex value of the orange material, go back over to the dark orange, go into the base color, paste in that hex value and hit enter so that it is that nice orange that we have. And now let's drag it over to make it just a little bit darker and maybe a little redder. Perfect. So now we have a light orange material, an orange material, and a dark orange material. And all of them are attached to this button body object. So what we can do now is I'm going to go ahead and remove the visibility of the base so that I'm only looking at the actual button. And I'm going to switch over to edit mode. Right now I'm in object mode, but I'm going to hit tab, so now I'm in edit mode. I'm going to hit shift Z so that I am in wireframe mode. And I also want to make sure I am in the front view so that I'm seeing my faces in the best way possible, fully on, like this. Now what I'm going to do is hit 3 on my keyboard so that I have switched from edge select to face select. You'll know you've done that in wireframe when all of these little dots appear. Now I'm going to, with my selection tool, select all of the faces except for this top row right here. This top row, I want that to stay this light orange, which was the color that everything is currently assigned. Now I'm going to select the orange material, and hit Assign. And if we switch out of wireframe mode by hitting Shift Z again, you'll see that just the faces that we selected have changed from that light orange color to the regular orange. The reason we are switching in and out of wireframe mode, again, by pressing Shift Z, is because when we have a fully transparent 3D model like this, we are selecting all of the models, we are selecting all of the faces all the way through the model from this view, which is again why we switched to the front view, so that I have a good solid view of all of these faces straight on, so it's easy for me to select. If you were to try to select the faces without being in wireframe mode, as you can see, you're only selecting the first half that the program actually sees. So that's why we want to be in wireframe mode while we do this. So now that we're back in wireframe mode, I'm going to deselect by clicking out, and I'm going to reselect those faces so that I have all of them selected, just like that. I'm going to go over to the dark orange material and hit Assign, and we will switch back out of wireframe. And as you can see, our button has this lovely little gradient going on now. Looking good. I will get out of edit mode and let us turn the visibility back on for that button base. And yeah, that's looking really nice so far. Now for the button base, I'm basically going to do the same exact thing. Create 3 different materials with a little bit of variation to their value and saturation to have a nice subtle gradient on our button base. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the body invisibility, and I am going to switch over, I'm going to select the model. I'm going to subtract that material, add a new one. I'm going to call this one light gray. Change its base color. Since one of the main sort of color schemes I've been doing in the with the textures of the environments has been like complementary colors, I want to make the base of the button a gray, but a slightly bluish gray, so that it sort of offsets that really intense orange. So this nice sort of bluish gray, and this will be the light one. Now I'm going to copy the hex value while I'm in this material. I'm going to go over here and hit a plus and create a new material. Rename this one gray. Now I will paste that hex value so that I have that same gray color. And what I'm going to do is lower the value of that gray. And click outside. And now we've created a gray material that's a little bit darker than that first light gray. Want to grab that hex value of the new gray color, create our new material for the dark gray. Paste that hex value in of the gray color, and again, just lower the value. And click out. And now we have all of the materials necessary to create a nice little gradient for our button base. So let's switch over to edit mode. And I will switch again to the front view. Go into wireframe mode. And let's start by selecting up until about here. We will go over to the gray material, hit Assign, and now I will deselect, and I will select all the faces up until that second row. Go to dark gray, hit Assign, and now deselect, Shift Z to go back to normal, and check out our button base. Tab to go back into object mode, That's looking pretty good. I think that I'm going to go ahead and add just one more material, just one more darker gray to do this, this little outer edge. Darker gray. I want to make sure that I'm just selecting the outer edge here. And there we go. Yeah, I like that. Let's return the visibility of our button body. And check that out. That's looking really good. So that is a very simple way to add textures to your 3D models. I hope that it was a helpful tutorial for you, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.